The film begins in 1992 in the courtyard of a house with a swimming pool. In the pool, a toy boat is floating, noticed by a girl from the window of the house. She promises her sick brother that she will retrieve his toy and sneaks past the housekeeper, who is just leaving. Outside, the girl sees that the toy boat is lying at the bottom. She tries to get it with a net, edging closer and closer to the water. Suddenly, a creature grabs the net, and the girl loses her balance. Underwater, she sees her mother calling to her, but when she surfaces, no one is nearby. However, a toy boat floats behind her back. The girl swims to the middle of the pool and takes the toy, but at that moment, she is grabbed by something and pulled underwater. She surfaces and calls for help, but in vain. The water swallows her completely, leaving only a slipper behind. The story shifts to the present. Former baseball player Ray Waller, who is suffering from sclerosis, is looking for a new home with his family to undergo treatment in peace. None of the options appeal to him until he finds himself in a cozy suburb. Here, the realtor shows the couple a house that is for sale. No one has lived in the house for a long time, it needs renovation, but the Wallers like it. In the garden, there is a large pool with a cover. Ray has dreamed of such a pool since his childhood. When his wife Eve walks away, he reaches for a baseball but loses his balance and falls into the water. Ray gets tangled in the cover and imagines how he will return to the baseball team after his recovery. After climbing out of the water, he reaches the edge of the pool as a frightened family runs toward him. Afterward, the couple goes to a doctor's appointment. The doctor urgently recommends that Ray forget about professional sports and focus on regenerative physiotherapy, yoga, and swimming. Ray and Eve realize that they must buy the house with the pool. The Waller family soon moves into their new house along with their cat. While Ray unpacks boxes, Eve tightens the handrails on the stairs. The children set off to their new school. Izzy, the Waller's eldest daughter, meets a boy named Ronan, who invites her to join the school swim team. In the afternoon, the family is busy cleaning the pool. After draining the water, they clear the bottom of leaves while discussing their youngest son Elliot's baseball training. While cleaning the drain, Ray sticks his hand in up to his elbow and gets a cut on his palm. He then leaves the work to professionals. The pool cleaning specialists are surprised to find that the pool's water comes directly from a natural source. After the pool is cleaned, the Waller family decides to swim. While Ray does physiotherapy, Eve throws coins into the water for the children to dive after. Ray reflects that now, having given up sports, he can spend much more time with his family. While sorting old things in the garage, Ray finds a video camera with recordings showing him playing with the children. Eve studies her husband's diagnosis while listening to lectures about her upcoming job. Late at night, she decides to swim in the pool and notices a nervous cat at the edge. As she continues swimming, she sees Ray on the shore, but when she surfaces, his figure has disappeared. At that moment, the light bulb in the pool flickers alarmingly. Back in the house, Eve complains to Ray about the defective pool lighting. As the couple goes to bed, the bulb continues to flicker, watched by the cat. In the morning, Elliot notices that the cat's collar is floating in the pool. Since the cat's body is not in the water, the family assumes the animal has run away. Ray retrieves the collar while the rest of the family searches the garden. Back in the house, Ray removes the bandage from his arm and is surprised to find the wound completely healed. After failing to find the cat, Elliot leaves food by the door. Later, Ray and his son install a cover to protect the pool from leaves and debris. As they pull up the canopy, a diving Eve remains behind on the ground, but it turns out to be just a disturbing dream. When she wakes up, she looks out the window and sees Ray taking a nighttime swim in the pool. During the next hospital checkup, the doctor cannot believe that Ray's test results have dramatically improved. The Wallers believe it's due to the new diet and exercise. Ray continues to exercise actively and swim. He even records videos to send to the baseball team's manager as a fitness report. His son asks him to swim together, but Ray needs to keep moving. He leaves Elliot to swim alone. Elliot attaches a painted coin to a toy and swims with it, not noticing the creepy shadow looming over the pool. Sitting underwater, he sees someone throw coins into the water. Believing his father did it, Elliot surfaces to get his goggles before diving back to collect the coins. From the bottom, he sees a silhouette at the edge that disappears when he surfaces. Elliot thinks his sister is playing a prank and continues swimming but soon notices a suspicious shadow over the diving board. He climbs up but finds no one there. Suddenly, he hears a girl's voice speaking to him from the drain. The girl says her name is Rebecca and she wants her toy back. Suddenly, a creepy creature with long hair appears before Elliot. The frightened boy tells his mother, but she sees no one. When the parents discuss the incident, they conclude that Elliot imagined it. A few years ago, he communicated with imaginary friends. The conversation ends with the suggestion to organize a party to meet the new neighbors. The family heads to Elliot's baseball practice. Ray, a former pro, gives the players advice while the coach pitches. Elliot is nervous, but after hitting the first pitch, he feels more confident. At the end of practice, the coach offers Ray a chance to prove his skills, and he agrees. But Ray misses the ball twice and even falls because he can't keep his balance. On his third attempt, he remembers the relaxing water of the pool. He hits the ball and sends it powerfully out of the park. At home, Ray swims while Eve watches him suspiciously from the window. One evening, the parents go out to dinner, leaving the children alone. Izzy takes the opportunity to invite Ronan over to swim. In the water, the teenagers play Marco Polo. During the game, Ronan cheats and reaches the shore. Izzy dives underwater, thinking Ronan is there, but she confronts a creepy drowned person and a spatial anomaly. The pool is much deeper than it seems. Panicked, she surfaces. Ronan doesn't understand what happened. To him, she was only underwater for a few seconds. The parents return earlier than planned and make Ronan leave unnoticed. On the day of the party, Elliot blackmails his sister, threatening to tell their parents she brought Ronan home. He wants to know what scared her in the pool, but Izzy asks him not to tell. When the guests arrive, Elliot sets up a video camera in the window to capture anything suspicious. The guests enjoy swimming, sunbathing, and socializing. Izzy tells her new friends about her relationship with Ronan. Eve, cutting a watermelon, learns from the realtor that 30 years ago, a little girl named Rebecca, the daughter of the previous owners, drowned in the pool. Meanwhile, Ray meets a boy from baseball practice who found a ball he hit and asks Ray to sign it as a souvenir. The former player is overjoyed and offers to play with the boy in the pool. During the game, a confrontation leads Ray to retreat into deep water and dive headfirst. When the boy causes Ray to fall into the water, Ray doesn't resurface. Black sludge emerges from the drain and enters Ray's body. Underwater, Ray grabs the boy's legs and pulls him into the depths. Izzy sees the boy go underwater and runs to alert the adults. Men dive in and pull out an unconscious Ray and the boy, who has large bruises on his legs. The party ends with the arrival of the police. The injured boy's parents agree not to press charges, attributing the incident to Ray's illness, but they demand Ray stay away from their children. A frustrated Eve suggests moving away from the cursed pool. As the Wallers drive away, Ray suddenly suffers an attack. They return home to put him to bed, but instead of resting, he asks to be taken to the pool. When Eve refuses, Ray smiles strangely and says it's very cold at the deep end. Eve decides to drain the pool. The next day, she searches for information about the previous owners. She discovers that over the past 100 years, many people have died or disappeared under strange circumstances in the house. After finding their address, she visits them, greeted by an older woman. Invited inside, Eve hears about the woman's wonderful and successful son. When Eve mentions the house with the pool and the drowned girl, the woman mysteriously replies she has no daughter, only a son. Eve expresses concern about the pool's effect on Ray. The old woman coughs, wipes black sludge from her eyes, and tells an old legend about a miraculous spring that can fulfill any wish but demands a human life in return. That's what happened to Rebecca. The spring took her life and healed her brother, and the mother was aware of her actions. Eve asks how to break the curse, but the woman begins coughing violently. Turning around, black sludge flows from her eyes. Smiling, she says it will soon be over, the spring will claim its victim regardless. Panicked, Eve runs off, trying to call her husband. She doesn't know that black sludge is emerging from the shower drain and has overtaken Ray's mind. When Elliot comes home that evening, he notices water vibrating in a glass. He goes into the garden, hoping to find the cat, unaware that the glass is moving. Hearing a squeak, he approaches the inflatable ring, thinking the cat is there, but instead, an evil entity pulls him underwater as an invisible force opens the pool cover. Izzy notices her brother has fallen in and tries to help. Eve arrives, tells Izzy to call Ray, and dives in herself, but Elliot is nowhere to be seen. She straps on a hose, using it like a breathing tube, and dives again. She finds Elliot unconscious and pulls him to the surface. They're attacked by spirits of the dead, seemingly unable to reach the surface. At that moment, Rebecca's ghost appears, revealing Elliot's coin in her palm, pointing the way. Seeing the light, Eve and her son swim upward. Meanwhile, Izzy, injured by glass, searches for her father. Ray suddenly appears with a sludge-covered face and strikes his daughter to prevent her from calling for help. She escapes and hides in the garage, grabs a baseball bat, and secretly follows her father outside. Ray grabs Eve, who is trying to save Elliot. Izzy attacks her father, hitting him several times with the bat. In surprise, he spits out black mush. Ray sees his wife, recalls the best moments of his life, and finally regains himself. Elliot regains consciousness too. The family wants to flee the cursed house, but a thick black cloud appears in the pool, and Elliot worsens. Ray realizes the pool demands a sacrifice. He turns and walks down the steps into the water, asking his family not to watch. He dives in and swims directly into the dark spot. Elliot finally recovers, and the black liquid disappears along with Ray's body, leaving only clear water. The next day, Elliot watches one of his father's videos. Eve examines the empty pool and gives her son a coin with a smiley face. The surviving Wallers stand at the pool's edge, wanting to leave forever, but decide to stay to prevent anyone else from falling victim to the evil entity. Izzy and Elliot bury the pool to ensure such a tragedy never happens again.